I'm still sorting out what I'm going to do for this, what materials I'm going to use for the art group that I'm teaching tomorrow. It's a local art group, and I'm doing 2 classes as part of the fun day, or the village fete as it's called now. And of course it's kind of important that I have some idea of the materials and things. I mean, sometimes, I remember going back to when I visited South Africa. It must be about 10 years ago now. I went to South Africa to teach, and I'm reminded of that now because my time there was amazing. I loved it, and I really enjoyed all the classes and things and the different venues and everything. Excuse me. But there were times when everything couldn't be planned. We were traveling quite a lot and going to different places and teaching all different things, like flower painting one time, and then portraiture. And anyway, I was to paint to run a flower painting class in this beautiful venue overlooking Table Mountain, but we had no flowers and we couldn't find a florist, so we just had to get some from a supermarket, and they weren't great, but we ended up, you just kind of work with what you have. And sometimes I think having all this choice available, sometimes it creates issues where really there doesn't have to be any. What colour? I want to get the opera rose if I can find it in here, I think. Anyway, what I'm saying is that if I was presented with the class tomorrow and just had basic, even school equipment or something, I would do it. I would do something. It would be fine. No. But because I do have the luxury of time in advance and planning and things, I am wanting, I'm just squeezing out my paint here. I am wanting to give it my best shot and to offer people, to know in advance a little bit more. Oh, there's opera rose. To know in advance, you see, I think that's the colour of those lovely pink flowers that I've just brought in. Sorry, you can't see my palette, can you? Sorry. Very boring start to the video. Okay, I might just edit all of that out and just start now. Okay, good morning. So here we are. I was just musing there about how when I was in South Africa, I ended up just making do with whatever I had when I was teaching there, because sometimes you just couldn't get the thing that you needed, and I'm remembering that because I find myself now with all this time to plan these classes I'm teaching tomorrow. I find myself sometimes feeling nervous about it, or that wondering if I'm doing if I've, what materials to use, and sometimes it's no harm to not have all of that choice. Anyway, this is the last day to choose what it is I'm going to use with the people in the workshop tomorrow. I can either use, I can use mixed media, which is what I've decided, but whether to begin with watercolour paint or to work with acrylic to begin with. I quite like watercolour paint because, and especially using these watercolour pencils with it, actually, it's just less cumbersome, and for something like a workshop where it's a fairly quick, look, it'll be 2 hours, won't take, we won't be painting for all that long. But one of the things that that is maybe easier with acrylic is the fact that the paint dries. The paint dries more quickly, and so you can, like for example here now with the greens, I'm needing to be aware that if I paint the green leaves in between those lovely pink flowers, now they'll probably end up merging and diluting the pink, and the purple in ways I don't want them to. So I'm kind of needing to be, I suppose, a little bit more, not restrained is the word, but just take a bit more care as to where I place my greens so that they don't touch. The pink flowers. I'm making a green that's a bit more muted now here, because the hooker's green on its own was very bright, so I put in a little bit of I think it's carmine pink or something that was just on my palette there. But any red really into the green will cancel out the brightness of it a bit. And I'm kind of almost just half closing my eyes and deciding where do I want. But there's a bit of a shimmery kind of a sense to this greenery. It's not clear, as foliage often isn't really. And it's kind of exciting to just let that, to paint in those little bits in between. And I think I've got a green pencil as well that I can use maybe to describe some of those lovely leaves. I find that if you pick up some of the painted colour on the, I'm noticing there's a little insect there. As you pick up the painted colour that's on the paper already, like that green that I've just painted on, and pull it with the pencil, it can make quite a nice mark. Not completely dry or not completely wet. And there where it enters the jug is quite dark. Just found a pencil that's, I want to use this. I suppose I could use it in the jug maybe. It's chalk. It's not going to merge with the watercolour now. This isn't watercolour pencil. And there's a blue I was just using actually in the flowers, of course. I find myself going gently here now, and I feel like yesterday I was kind of throwing everything at it, whereas today I'm pacing myself a bit more. I guess maybe that's the benefit of taking a little bit of time to plan in advance, because you kind of go through a process and eventually happen upon something that feels right without it being too overpowering. You see, I quite like the pattern on the jug there. It's hidden behind the leaf, but I don't want it to be too dominant. Quite nice putting a little bit of collage on there, I think. And even these a couple of little flowers on the collage paper. And maybe quite nice to heighten some of these little purpley ones. I'm trying to find a good colour. I think maybe this here is a bit more purple than pink. I might just put some little touches without them having to be full individual flowers. Just putting down some touches of blue and purple and pink in the flurry of flowers, and then also the pattern on the jug, I think could be quite a nice way to describe them without it being all about collage. It can be an interesting addition. I kind of like this paper for the describe the jug as well. It makes it very different from the I might put some there. It gives it a different feel from the rest of the still life. Maybe just there, actually, just a little touch. Maybe like that, as a nod to its pattern. Now, where's the glue here? So it'll be about here, maybe. No, in here. Yeah, in there. And then there was a touch of beautiful blue pattern there, but I wanted to still read as the same as the jug, so I'm going to put a touch more of that pattern there too. Maybe a bit dark, actually. Before I put in this bright blue little flurry. And it isn't really that bright blue because of the shadow on the jug backlit by the window. Something I want to put it in. Explain the pattern in that area. Put it there instead. Okay. And then there's some this purplish colour that I think would be of benefit in touches of that little purple flower. Just here and there, there's some bits that are overlapped by others, quite dark in the overlapping. A little bit big, that piece. I think there's a kind of a pleasing thing that happens when there's just touches of dark collage pieces placed on top, or touches of light collage pieces, you know, just touches that you're not sure how they were done, but it gives it a bit of richness. It adds some kind of richness to the flurry of it, I think. Okay, and that's not really the colour, but I don't know why I felt like putting it there. It's kind of nice that there's actually a flower, isn't it? Don't know if I could use it though, maybe half of it. lifted those flowers a bit higher than they were, because I wanted to. Okay, and then there's a daisy. There's a little crocosmia kind of hidden behind. The stem of a daisy coming up about here, maybe. It would actually be a bit farther to the right, but just leave it there just now, so that I can maybe fill space with the sunflower again. This is a new sunflower now. Yesterday's one was fading away, and this is a new one. But from painting it yesterday, I'm reminded that it's helpful to remember the darks and the greens. And so I'm thinking to myself, if I've got a darkish green in the pencil, I might use that. Or I could also put a little bit of dark blue, brown into the wet paint, so that it reads as being darker in the center there. So I think the pencil, while it's a good green color, it's maybe not as muted. It's more colorful than I'm seeking for this. And because they're backlit, I think they actually end up being darker than they would normally be. Sitting on the windowsill here. And then there's the daisy that's being outlined a bit by the sunflower. And also by the leaves over on this side. And then above it sits the crocosmia. There's a lovely bright yellow orange in the crocosmia to the left here. Might as well do the one that's peeping up above the rim there. And there's also one in the background there-ish. So I'm going to return now to the pencils now that I've done a bit of explaining with paint. I guess I'll use the orange here. And I was going to use the green, wasn't I, to do some drawing in this area of the sunflower. And twirling the pencil around, so it's kind of creating a lost and found mark. It's not fully dark everywhere, which is what I want. And then there's a yellow as well that might work to represent some of the, let's put some water on it actually to spread out the yellow a bit. They work to represent some of the warmer greenness tendrils that are made lighter by the wind, by the light from the window. And just the tips of them seem to me to have a hint of yellow. And there's a daisy down there I'd forgotten about too. Guess I could put the center of this daisy in. Oh, there's another yellow. It's quite good sunflower yellow, I think. can just explain the petals of the sunflower at least with it, and then decide what else I want to do, capture there, if I want to capture the full brightness of them, or if I want it to be a kind of a supporting act here. And then there's the inside of the daisy that sits here. Obviously also got that yellow into it. And just because flowers are there doesn't mean we have to paint and to draw them all in. So I can kind of consider with discernment too how much I want to identify here. And how much of the jug I want to explain. I could put a little touch of blue on the base of the jug as well, maybe. And again, not too much of a statement, but just indications of the pattern and the bulk of the jug and the colour of it. Maybe I can merge some of the pattern with the drawn line with the pencil. Use both the red and the blue watercolour pencil maybe. Explain the shape of that pattern. The two together too, maybe. One hand. Okay. There's kind of a grey hard pastel here that I'm choosing to use for the jug. Just I don't have the Payne's grey pencil actually. I would have used that otherwise. And I might also use it to describe the other daisy whose petals are kind of curling back with age, withering a bit, that one. It's quite dark. Those petals over there are quite dark. Again, being backlit. And there's actually another daisy over there that's also kind of fading. Hidden behind the sunflower a bit. No, I wonder would it be a very big step to use this dark ink to draw with. I think it would actually. So I'm going to clean the stick and just dip it into the crimson watercolour that's in my palette and see what about that. How would that line look? I think I want something that will explain with clarity the edge of the daisy, but without it being too dark. But I think there's still some, despite just dipping it into the water, there's still quite a lot of ink on it, so it is It is still with a dark colour there. I mean, I could use it with a brush to spread it out and maybe make a greyish colour of the petals that are over there. It might be useful as well up here in those very dark petals that are sitting behind brightness of the sunflower there. Very dark leaves, I mean. It's a bit, I think it is a bit dominant colour. And I've used fairly muted watercolour in the rest of it. So maybe not bring that with me tomorrow for the class. I'll just bring some Payne's Grey. I think I'll get some Payne's Grey pencils, water-based pencils, so that there is something that's possible to do a muted line with, but it's not going to take over like the black Indian ink can on a watercolour painting. There's always the option of putting collage over things as well, remember. In fact, I might just do that with some white paper I've got here. I might just re-find some brightness in that daisy by putting a white collaged petal on there. Now, I'm looking at this bit of acrylic paint here. Thought it might have peeled off for me easily, but it's not. The reason I was looking at it was because I thought it might be a good colour to represent the brightness of the sunflower. I have got some yellow paper here. Some various shades. It's all pretty bright, but I think it would work for some parts. And I've got some high flow acrylic as well. I'm going to put it in here if there's any left. And there's what colour is that high flow acrylic? It looks fairly good. Hansa yellow. And then this is cadmium yellow, but I think it was a bit lumpy if I remember from yesterday. There's patches of it. Actually, it's quite good in the tips here. It's really quite bright. And it's more like acrylic paint than it is acrylic ink. It's got a little bit thick in the bottle. Maybe left it open or something. So this is De La Rowney System 3 acrylic ink. And that's a nice one for the sunflower. Maybe the center of that daisy too. I hope it doesn't run away with itself. Now that droplet there, I might just siphon off a little bit of the fluid from it so it doesn't run down the painting. But yeah, that was one place as well that I was thinking I could have used. That was one place, that daisy, where I thought I could use like a Payne's Grey pencil to explain the edge of it. But instead I'll use this Crayola crayon I just found in the box there. Sometimes it's quite nice to have a mark that's bright and different. I'm not sure pulling the yellow out was a good idea, but it's done now. I could always just lift it off a bit. But you know, when you spread out yellow, look, it only gets brighter. I think I'm going to have to pretend that's a yellow flower or something. Okay. And then back here, there'll be some kind of yellowish green colours. And the crocosmia leaf shooting up there can be kind of nondescript enough. I think it's such a dominant shape that you could kind of err on the side of making it a bit lighter than it really is in your painting. I think if you've got a crocosmia leaf, filling in some of the gaps of green in between. I've got a sore back these days. No, I should say it's not all day every day or anything. Just now and then it twinges. Just notice it there. Yeah, and I guess I could do that thing with that daisy that's changed its colour. I could do the thing I did with the other daisy and brought in a bit of collage to bring back the white of it. I'm going to put a bit more actually on there. But I think I need to get thicker paper because the paper I was using there was just it was almost see-through, so I want paper that's going to be white and thick enough for us not to see the yellow petals that are underneath. I think that'll do okay. And then I'll just put this piece shooting off that way. Because I guess it was annoying me a bit that that's gone yellow when it's really a white daisy. I'm going to find some more darks with the green watercolour pencil. Yeah. It's one of those ones that I could stop fairly soon now, and what I might need to do is to take off rather than add on anymore. I want to take off the brightness of this stem anyway. Yeah, and I guess I could just let some of the cadmium orange into that yellow in the sunflower in order that it can capture the colours that I'm seeing there. Put a little bit of green into it to make it more of a yellow ochre kind of a colour as we get back towards the leaves, and then to keep the brightness of the hands yellow in some places. Or actually, it's the ink, isn't it? The acrylic ink. It's the cadmium yellow ink that I was thinking of. I didn't end up using that hands yellow. Still sitting in the palette back there. So this is all quite fluid, so I need to pick up some of those drips in case they go flying down the page. Sometimes it's fine if they do that, but in this instance I want the sunflower to shine that way, not to fall this way. So I'm happy enough for it to go that way now. And then I think maybe just a little bit of a connecting collage or something. Maybe this colour. I'm going to try that. And then I think I'll just leave it alone because I'm not really very clear. I could always lift these collage pieces off again after as well if they're seeming like they're too much. And I felt like I wanted to do something that had a kind of a dominance to it again in order to respond to all the kind of chaos that's in the flowers. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to stop there. It's been helpful to me for my class tomorrow to kind of have some ideas about what to do next. Have some ideas about what to do with them. I'm actually going to just bring down the purple edge to that other side of the vase. To the jug. I quite like the opera rose on its own, but that is just touched down with my finger there to explain something of that lovely spray of flowers too. I just brought them in from the pot outside my front door. They're on their last legs, those flowers. I don't know what they're called. I forget. No. I'm kind of got a hankering to complete this phase, something different. Taking a few chances here, but sure, it's only a painting. And there's that old thing of putting on a background edge or not. I think just something to say this is where the windowsill stops, and just that there's some kind of a space within which that setup is sitting, like the jug being anchored onto the windowsill there. I'm mixing up what I hope will read as Payne's Grey now with the Van Dyke Brown and some ultramarine blue, and I'm gonna put it just above that line there to explain maybe the edge, the windowsill. All right. Okay, that's it. That's what happened there. Okay, I'll take a picture of this setup too in case you want to do something like that. Change the jug from yesterday if you saw yesterday's one. Okay, lots of love, everybody. Take you off actually and let you see. I think you can kind of see what I was looking at there. Okay, all the best. Bye.